accomplish something. That
Okay,
that's
Rocky,
beneficial.
we're in order.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Benville.
Do I touch a button?
You just said.
Sometimes you're sitting there, sometimes you're over there, sometimes you push buttons, sometimes you don't.
Good job, Nancy. You turned the.
Harry failed the instructions, Nancy. Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Mum.
Here.
Commissioner Neely.
Here.
Commissioner Pauly.
Here.
Commissioner Mengelberg. Chair Roth.
Here. Thank you. So we will go straight to the election of the chair and the vice chair for 2014.
All righty. So, good evening, commissioners. Your Urban Renewal Commission bylaws require that you elect a chair and a vice chair at the beginning of each year at your first meeting, and so that's what we're going to do this evening. You have in front of you ballots. One says for a chair, and one says for a vice chair, and I think you have a couple in case we need more than one. The chair can call for nominations for chair from the floor first, and then we'll go to the vice chair. So,
Chair?
Oh, excuse me, I'm voting.
We're
going to nominate?
yes, you can go ahead and
Okay.
nominate for chair at this point, and then a
Okay,
second.
so let's have nominations for the chair.
If I may, I'd like to nominate Carol Pauly for chair.
Okay?
Second.
And I'd like to nominate Rocky Smith.
Second.
Any others?
Okay.
Can I ask a question real quick? I think I hit the right button. So in the bylaws, it says that one of the officers should not be a city commissioner?
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
usually the vice chair.
Okay. Gotcha. It's usually the vice chair. Okay. Thank you.
That narrows it down.
Well, okay.
So we're voting at this point for
chair.
for chair, either Commissioner Pauly or Commissioner Smith.
Okay, has everyone voted? You can pass
For
them down.
chair?
Oh crap! I filled up both.
You have me
For
too.
chair. For chair.
Make sure I put the right one. Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Chair?
I screwed up too.
Chair only. This is chair
No, but
only.
you're
yeah.
new.
Chair only.
Okay.
Check.
I should do better, but
At least she gave us a couple.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, we have 4 for Carol Pauly and 2 for Rocky Smith. So you can choose to have Rocky Smith as the vice chair if you wish, or you can go on to a ballot for vice chair.
Well,
Well,
don't
no,
we have to
that's
have a
not
non-commission member?
Bylaws?
Vice?
on the
I-
bylaws?
By the law, bylaws.
Chair should be
That's
elected
what
by
I
the
was
board
saying.
members of the Urban
Yeah.
Renewal Commission and
Use
shall
one of those.
preside at all meetings of the agency.
What about the
But
vice
keep
chair?
keep reading. It says that.
Except as otherwise authorized by the board members, the chair shall sign all contracts, deeds, and other instruments made by the agency.
I can show you. It's not in that section.
Section 1.
Do you have that
Yeah.
section?
Yeah, it's right
It's
here.
on the first.
Article 3, Section 1 on page 1.
Yeah.
Okay. we're-
Says at least one of these officers during any given term should not be a city commissioner.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I nominate Derek Benville for vice chair.
Second.
To keep it on election, I'll nominate Renata.
Oh, sorry, we didn't.
Mengelberg.
Sorry.
What are
I'm
you
sorry?
What are you
apologizing?
What are you apologizing for?
No, I thought okay. I
You
thought
did
we.
it right. No.
So we
you did it.
finished the first one,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good.
And I nominate Renata can you help me out?
Mengelberg.
Mengelberg for vice chair.
Vice.
Second.
Vice.
Oh, jeez, we're supposed to do it already?
Okay,
Yes.
so write
Oh, you're
them
fast.
down.
Vice.
If it's not this year, it's next year, right?
Right, exactly.
Oldham?
I wrote, my name is who I voted for. I have put arrows, which arrows?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the simplest thing confusing, right?
Okay, it's unanimous for Derek Benville
Okay,
for vice chair.
great. Steve, you have anything to say?
Nobody asked the reporter.
He's the only citizen out there.
Citizen comment, this is your time, Steve, to shine.
Well, the reason I laughed when watching nominated Derek was because Derek showed up.
Yeah.
That's true.
You have to give it to somebody who shows up.
Oh, no, normally it's.
Usually you don't. Yeah, everybody votes for the person who's
Well,
there.
that's right, yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Sorry.
adoption of the agenda. Does anybody want to, do we move to adopt?
Oh, you don't need a
We
motion.
don't need to, okay. All right, general business, we've got the Cove project, and this is Eric, right?
Right, that's right. If I could just step back real quick, Renata submitted some comments, and she wanted me to read them to
Okay.
the board. She wanted me to extend her apologies for not being able to make it tonight, her first meeting. And she did say, as far as the election of the chair and the vice chair, she didn't have an opinion, but she would like to see Derek be the vice chair, since it would be a member, a non-commission member. But if he wasn't interested in serving, then she would happily do so. So she made a comment about the land use approvals for tonight, but she can't vote since she's not here. But if she were, she would approve them. And then the minutes are acceptable to her. So that's all I had from Renata.
Okay.
So this is the first action that we take on working out or meeting the preconditions for the Cove DDA. And the first step was for CCLLC to submit a list of land use approvals to the Community Development Department and have staff from that department confirm that that is the list, that is an acceptable list for land use approvals. And that's what you have before you tonight. It's required by the DDA in Section 5. I sent the DDA as an attachment, so you can refer to that. But this is the first step, and I hope you've had a chance to review that list. It's a very short list. Again, Tony Conkle, our Community Development Director, did certify that that is a correct list. So it's up for you tonight for approval. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I have a question. At what point are they going before the state for the, what's it called, the high-rise?
Vertical
Housing.
They're working on that currently.
Okay,
So
do
they're
they
putting
know
their
when they're going to
application
submit
together.
that?
They won't submit that to us.
No, but it'll go to the state. But do
It'll
they
go
know
to
when-
the state, yes. So they're working closely with the state right now to
Okay.
submit that application.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have questions?
I have a question. So I was looking at the agreement, and it really has nothing to do with this list and what we're voting on, but is the effective date that's described throughout this whole thing the January 10th? Is
Yes.
that officially the effective
That
date?
is the effective date. That's when it was signed by all parties. That was what's fully executed.
Boy, there's a list of stuff they got to get going on.
There's a lot of stuff, yes.
There's a lot of stuff we have to do too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
So okay,
It
the
should be
clock's
points.
ticking, starting the
Clock's-
10th, huh?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, thank you.
Clock's ticking.
Anybody else?
Move to approve 14-04, 75, land use application list for the Cove project.
Second, Doug Neely. Moved by Betty Mum.
And the vote is unanimous.
This is when you use the machine.
Yes, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Very good, Commissioner Benville.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can move on down to approving the minutes for December 18th.
Move to approve.
Second?
Moved by Betty Mum and
Doug, can you touch the?
I could do something.
Seconded by Mayor Neely.
There
maybe?
she goes.
Okay.
And that vote is unanimous as well.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any future agenda items? Anyone wants to bring up?
Not for urban renewal.
I have an inquiry, given that the announcement this week about Trader Joe's in north of Portland. Is there any chance of them coming back and looking at us? Or I don't think we were in competition there, but
Anything's possible. I can certainly reach out to them.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will do that. Yeah, I'll make it a point
Thank
to
you.
do that.
Anybody else have anything?
I'd like to invite Eric Underwood to take a moment to talk about a meeting we went to this morning, and we'll talk about it more formally at the commission meeting, but it's also relevant to the urban renewal district.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. So Doug and I went to the inaugural Thriving Cities Alliance meeting this morning, breakfast meeting, and it's a group of home builders, the brokerage community, economic development professionals, electeds, and so forth, all to promote development readiness of the region. And so it was a very worthwhile event. They had an expert panel toward the end. They had a keynote speaker who talked about value capturing as far as putting in utilities and how areas develop around utilities and comparing density versus single family and how that spawns economic development. Very good presentation. And I think it might be put online to the attendees. So if once I see that pop up, I can forward it out to
Please
you
do.
all, the link. But very informative. But the highlight, and one of the main reasons that Doug and I went there this morning, was to receive recognition from them. They wanted to recognize Oregon City for being the pilot jurisdiction and the community initiative, community investment initiative, the development readiness program that we went through last summer. And they did recognize us. They called us up and presented us with this certificate.
Nice.
It says, Certificate of Achievement. The Thriving Cities Alliance awards this certificate to Oregon City in recognition of serving as the first pilot project of the CII Development Ready Communities Initiative. We thank you for your leadership and collaboration.
Very nice.
I'm
Thank you.
going to make a guess, and it is a guess, but you probably know if my guess is right. I think Carlotta probably had a great deal with us being perhaps one of the initial ones. Do you know that?
No, I was invited to a meeting. Actually,
I can speak to that. You're talking about how we got involved in the program to
How
begin
we
with?
became the
Well-
guinea pig.
Well, I
Eric
think,
went to the meeting.
frankly,
right?
I think
He
it was, I think a lot of cities were approached. This program is sponsored by the Urban Land Institute, by the way. And I think there were many cities that were approached, but I think, frankly, a lot of them, when someone approaches you and say, we're here to help you, and by scrutinizing everything you do to tell you how you're doing it well or not so well, and obviously if we're doing it well, they don't want to talk to us. So the idea was to find out what we could do better to be more ready for development. And I think, frankly, a lot of cities were reluctant because it was a new program, and it took a fair amount of courage, I think, on our part to say, yeah, come and look at us top to bottom and see where we can improve. I don't know what went through the minds of other cities, but I know that's one of the questions I had as manager was, well, I want to fix things that need fixing in an organization, but I don't necessarily want headlines about it. And I think that was our own courage that allowed us to go forward and say we really want to improve. And since no one had done it before, I think they were looking for you said guinea pig, but I think they were looking for somebody who was willing to try it. And we didn't just want to try it, we really did want to find out where our weaknesses were and where we could make improvements.
Well, I'd just be curious from you all, how did what did we get out
What
of
was
it?
the assessment?
Yeah, actually not so much the assessment, but what we actually got out of it.
Yeah.
okay. Well, if I can answer that in just a second, I just want to add on something that to what David just said, the cities were approached and they were invited to kind of a brown bag session. And so this preliminary group described their program and what they wanted to do, and just kind of put it out there. Who wants to participate? It was kind of an application thing, and so basically it was us and another city that wanted to participate. But I think we made the more compelling argument. We submitted our application for that, and so we were chosen for that, which was fortunate for us. One being that we were kind of a city in transition. We were just starting up a very structured economic development program, and I think they liked that idea, and so they went with us. So as far as what we got out of it and whether or not we thought it was a success, I think we got a lot out of it. We learned a lot about ourselves and how we could better coordinate. Of course, the report that came out that's now on the website identifies both strengths and weaknesses, and they also recommend they have recommended solutions to some of our weaknesses. It is, at the very least, it's inspired us to coordinate better. I mean, we have better lines of communication, I think. We've always got this in the back of our minds that, yeah, there's some things we need to improve on, so we're aware of that. It created awareness. And we're trying to implement some of the things. I mean, it's going to take some time, but we're moving forward. And I think that's that in and of itself, being able to move forward in that manner is a huge step. So,
Thank you.
I have something to add too. This is about Main Street, but it's relative because Main Street is in the urban renewal district. Main Street is undergoing a program review right now. The last 2 days were spent with Sherry Stewart from Oregon Main Street Program and 2 of her colleagues. And there were interviews with many different people in the community just to see what we can do better, what we can do to increase investment downtown and just make a better run program with better committees and a stronger structure. So that's going really well, and hopefully that will make the program even stronger.
Okay. Anyone else? Did anyone else have anything they wanted to add to future agenda items or discussion points? Okay. City Manager's report.
Thank you. First, I want to mention that Mayor Neely and I participated in one of the Main Street program reviews. I think you met, was it today or yesterday?
Both.
And Mayor and I were there the day before that. So they did also reach out to us, and there was I think they're doing a lot of program review to find out, moving forward with Main Street, what do they want to do differently, what programs are working and not working as well. And what I really appreciate about Jonathan Stone's approach is that there's much more outreach, and I think sometimes in the past we compartmentalized, or Main Street was kind of looking at, okay, it's property owners versus business operators. Sometimes they're one and the same, sometimes they're not. But the current approach is much more inclusive, so that everyone is being asked what their thoughts and opinions are of the program. And I think that's going to be important because we want the program to have support from all sectors of the downtown. And you're never going to have everybody agreeing on what they should be doing, but I think it's important to ask. And so I really appreciate that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have that partnership, and I think sometimes you fall in the trap where, you know, a couple of people maybe do a lot of the work and just kind of go forward, and it's important to slow down and get that structure back of the committees where you have lots of involvement from lots of different people and different legs working on projects.
And one of the program reviews to the new business that's opening down there, the vintage denim store, the 2 owners there were at one of the meetings. So, and they brought great ideas from some of their background and shared them with the group, with the board, and I thought that was really helpful too, to see that. That's good to see a new business coming to Oregon City and already being involved,
Right.
and bringing positive input, and suggestions to the meeting. So,
Right, and this process is still going on, so they're
Right.
going to take all that data that they gathered and then bring a report and bring it in front of the board, and we'll go through it and see what we can do, make kind of a work plan out of that.
That's great.
Good idea.
Very good. Anything else, David?
that's all I had.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to bring to the forefront?
Welcome to our new members. One is missing,
Yeah.
but still, we're very excited to have you on board. And
Well, thank you.
Looking forward to.
Looking forward to it too.
Mhm.